Greetings and welcome. I'm Rebecca Carner, Biofield tuner. Today's tuning is really addressing the the fatigue, the fatigue that so many people are reporting in various ways. Hold on, I'm going to do a quick adjustment. Um, I in the early days of sort of being trauma informed and for people really starting to speak into the spaces around people's coping mechanisms, there was a lot of talk a few years ago about dissociation or disassociation. I think they are both words and can both be used. And I can't remember who it was. It was maybe Richard Rohr was talking about the sort of benefits of the dissociative state. He was he was mentioning if one had to fully be present and make every decision of, say, driving from one's house to the grocery store, you would be overwhelmed with fatigue, with minutia about having to discern every single thing. As human creatures, animals who move through space and time, we have to be able to have some things be sort of rote, have some things be foregone conclusions, and so that there really is a measure of discernment about where our attention and assessment and discernment has to be wielded in any given moment because it can't be everywhere all the time. And I don't know about you, friends, but right now it seems like everything is sort of up all the time. I know my versions of that. My friends and clients and family members, I mean, everybody is reporting. It seems as if I was describing something to a colleague actually just earlier today and saying it seems as if all the pillars of one's life have suddenly turned to marshmallow consistency as opposed to marble or granite. Why are the support structures, the sort of fundamental placement of things, everything sort of seems gushy. Nothing seems solid and certain. I know that this is right on time. Thanks, Pam Gregory. I know that everything that is anything that isn't sustainable or wasn't formulated with a substrate of fundamental coherency, anything that wasn't well rendered in its inception is being called up for review right now. And ultimately, this is a really, really good thing. But in the daily and in the short term, it just seems super duper fatiguing. Because if you have to make every minute decision, the taxation on our awareness and central nervous system is just really high. So today, the tuning is really just going to be, I'm going to go really slowly. And this is my offering of sonic support around fatigue, right? Whatever your version. Oh, and as always, I am filming this in the greater Atlanta, Georgia area, which right now is being absolutely inundated with pollen, which is an annual natural process that is part and parcel with the exceeding beauty that this part of the world has in terms of its flora, but the ramifications of having so much particulate in the air right now is really intense for a lot of people. So, I mean, if you have allergies or if you just are struggling just by, she says, coughing, by the sheer quantity, that can also bring fatigue in the system. So, we have things physical as well as non physical, and in many ways non local. Yeah. Woof. Whew, that are bringing fatigue to our systems. Okay. I'm starting today with my 174. You know, I've really been tuning a lot with my 144 fork, and I often start sessions with that lately, but today it was the 174. And I'm really going to listen in. Let's do the collective Earth Star chakra. Because the earth, many of my teachers and many of the public figures whose content I know a lot of my listeners are familiar with, really keep reminding in a beautiful and I think appropriate way that the rock home that we call Earth is going through her own culling, right? Her own evaluation of what is sustainable, what is not, and how to morph and shift in response to progress and evolution. Just like, yeah, yeah, wow. And just drop into your rhythmic breathing pattern, your personal tempo and breadth and depth of breath. When one feels fatigued, often we don't really want to we don't want to stop, almost for fear that we're just going to sort of drop into some sort of oblivion. But hitting the pause and stopping and checking in with self. What is the fatigue bringing up? Why do I feel so fatigued? Am I trying to control or predict things that aren't controllable or predictable? Am I noticing that things are shifting, and in some ways may some of it be okay, but because then if this moves, then that sort of if then logic. If this shifts, on the one hand, maybe I'm not 100% sorry to see it go, but what's coming in its stead, right? Having that space, right? The fatigue of the liminal space, the fatigue of momentary not knowing. Yeah, yeah. The fatigue of not knowing. All right, on your next exhale, if you can really Try to relax and soften the belly. Try and relax and soften your hips and your backside, your lower back, your sacral area, your sort of lower lumbar area. If you can relax your quadriceps, if you imagine IT bands softening those those stabilizers that we rely on so heavily and we often don't pay a lot of attention to until somebody, if you've ever had an IT band problem or have an IT band stop, we suddenly and very quickly realize how much we rely on them. Right. Okay. There were just releases of heat. In a book I read years and years ago around I think it was a financial analyst, something was writing about quitting smoking. And he made the mention around his own journey around quitting smoking. And he said that when he would be stressed, he would, wow, the heat coming off. Okay, when he would be stressed, he would very much want to smoke a cigarette. And then he realized, but if there's something that I'm stressing about, why would I want to suffocate myself to try and deal with it? Which, of course, sounds very logical, but anybody grappling with addiction knows that logic rarely rarely plays that that big of a part. However, when I bump up into heat in the field, it is often where there has been a bodily physical contraction over time, right? And then sort of like when you're at the phlebotomist and getting blood drawn, how they have you clench your fist, and then when they get the needle in, they ask you to release your grip so that the blood can flow. And it's like that initial relaxation of contraction, and then the subsequent sort of flow of energy feels like in the field a release of heat. Which, interestingly enough, right, fatigue is exacerbated by over efforting. So we're both fatigued, so we clench, right? We contract, which then just tires us out all the more quickly. How ironic. Oh, wow. One of my listeners is recovering from a coma. Wow, okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. May this sonic support really help you. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for being here. The not to make light, I am not diminishing, I am not making light of actual falls and actual comas, but sort of falling down and being rendered incapacitated is sort of a metaphor for a lot of the processes that many people are in right now. And then coming out of those states, and having gratitude, having uncertainty, having disorientation. Phew, yeah. All of those things are very, very real, regardless of, wow, regardless of how you arrived into those states. I'm reading some Arrowhead Regional Save My Life. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, right? Thank you for people showing up to their jobs. So much gratitude. Wow, it's I have a very cool temperatured studio, and it was particularly cool this morning. But the heat in the field, you guys, is I wore sort of a heavier top, and the heat in the field is really profound today. Right? So, sort of like not suffocating oneself when you're already in a stressed state, right? The over fatigue of contraction and trying to hold and control. When we are in a progressive and evolutionary and hopefully responsive state, it really doesn't help. And as much as anyone and everyone can, breathe fully and slowly through your nose, and exhale through your nose if you can, or gently through slightly pursed lips. Because full and appropriate breathing is the fast track to really everything good and everything functional. Everything good and everything functional. It's breath. It's breath and water. Mm, mm, mm. Really good. Really good. Okay, I'm going to check in with my weighted fork. One of the things that I'm really noticing about the work lately, and really even particularly in this tuning, is that people are really moving in beautiful ways into deeper embodiment. That is the sort of over conceptualization and over thinking, trying to push and figure things out that aren't figure outable, right? Those are all up here, right? They're all mental exercises, whereas checking in with the body, regulating breath, regulating the nervous system, and living wisdom, right? Knowledge, knowing a thing, learning a thing can all be up here. But knowing how to wear that garment of data through a lived experience, right? That's wisdom. As Richard Rudd says, right? Knowing you're in a pivot, that's wisdom. Like, I mean, you guys culturally, collectively, clearly, we're in a pivot. I don't know anybody personally who isn't in a pivot, right? Okay. All right, as opposed to any one specific chakra, so to speak, the zone that really wants to be supported right now is the diaphragm. So I am going to tune our collective diaphragm, one of my highest esteemed colleagues, who is, in my opinion, a yoga master, describes the diaphragm as wall to wall carpeting, right? It runs from our front ribs clear through and connects to the back fascial sheaths, right? And there are holes in them for the esophagus, which, if anybody has an esophageal hernia, you know of that function. But the diaphragm is a sort of mm, cross cavity trampoline membrane that sort of buoyantly bellows up and down with breath and digestion. It is my personal opinion that many of the if anybody's ever seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies, how they sort of mm, and they're going through history and they'll show sort of through time things being scribed in elven language on like parchment or whatever. I think of our diaphragms as being scribed with our legacies and our histories, our ancestral messaging and coding, and as well as our cultural coding, right? Because in the history, the lived history of our bodies, and much like in the Lord of the Rings movies, right? You can sort of fire and edit, or kind of like a la Harry Potter, sort of disappearing ink, right? These things are editable, but one has to realize that they're even there to then go back through and choose any edits. But it's interesting because in biofield tuning, we often refer to either chronic times of stress or blunt force impact of an event are marked in people's fields by breath holding, right? Right? That's okay. So our diaphragm just kind of seized up when we do that. Or if you think of chronic shallow breathing as a stress response, right? Quick, short breaths that a human animal does autonomically in a stressed state, but then often we get punted into entire lifetimes and lifestyles like that with that same short, quick, shallow breathing. All of that is stored in that way in the diaphragm, right? And it's how we express these messages that we've held all this time. And those can be noticed in our breathing. Okay, phew. Coming in on the left side of the diaphragm now, really under our heart space. I know the heart is sort of more in the middle, but it sort of drifts to the left a little. And that left side is considered the sort of heart side, the yin side. Hmm. Wow, there's a lot more emotion on this side, right? A lot more emotion, right? The fatigue from fear, the fatigue from carrying heartbreak or loss, the fatigue of injustice on the granular sort of interpersonal level and on the collective, the fatigue and the heartbreak in a healing journey, coming out of a coma, coming out of a trauma, navigating an oncological journey. There are so many really, really, really deep and profound. The heartbreak and fear. Mm. And it's not to make it go away, right? Sonic support for heartbreak isn't changing that state. It's having witness, it's being in community while you're in it. Wow, I could weep, you guys, the emotion right here. Yeah, we're all here. Yeah. Mm, mm. Right, and the fear that fatigue brings up, like I don't want to pause in my fatigue and feel it, because what if I never have the zhuzh to get up again, right? What if it overtakes me? Much like remorse or guilt or anger. So many of the times people dampen and anesthetize or distract away from emotions. I mean, some of it because we don't really know how to sit with it. But I think often it's because if I sit in it, it will overtake me, right? It will go gobble me up, and I will somehow be dissolved, overtaken by it, right? Consumed. A client A client once said to me, I feel like I'm a dump truck filled with dirt driving on a dirt road, and I've been booking it down this dirt road, and I've come to the stop before I have to turn on the highway, and like all the dust that's kicked up that from the dirt road, also that's in the bed of the truck, that it's just like it all caught up with me, and it's sort of occluding the windshield. And God, that was just such a powerful, powerful image because I knew exactly what she meant, right? But just like that dump truck, it's like, yeah, for a second, you can't see out of the windshield. But just for a second, the dust doesn't stay forever. It can't. And that is the same with these emotions. That's the same with these sensations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shoo, yeah, really good. Wow, the vibration in the fork is really interesting right here. Honestly, it feels like an itch that's getting scratched really well, but it's like you almost you almost feel guilty, like poison ivy, like, "Oh, if I itch it, is it gonna spread?" And it's like, "Yeah, but, it's finally getting it, like, it feels so much better." Phew, phew, right? No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty to relax. You don't have to feel guilty if a need gets met. Whew. If you honor the fatigue and rest just a little bit, that does not equal resting on your laurels. That does not equal not doing the thing. Hmm. I can't remember his name. Greg McEwen, Greg something McEwen, that I think is spelled strangely, McKewon or something. Anyway, um, well, strangely for American standards. He has this whole trajectory around essentialism. And if I'm not mistaken, he sort of arrived at his essentialist litmus through his religious affiliation. But as a practice, it's not necessarily religious, right? His whole sort of approach. And when one doesn't try to outrun and outstrip their fatigue, when one sits and notices and maybe even takes a moment of rest in one's fatigue, it often brings up a sort of an assessment process around, wow, wow, as I pause in my fatigue, I let me look at what's really wearing my ass out, right? And then the follow-up question is that really essential? Like, do I really need this? Because the quickest way not to have something work your last nerve or wear you out is to just have it not be in your universe anymore. And that can really bring about a sort of delightful and enlivening culling of the things on one's plate if you can sort of chuck out any non essentials. And if you have had an active process of that and are sort of down to pretty much essentials and still noticing that things are uncertain, emerging, unclear, or in transition, all of which bring about fatigue, then you can sort of practice in that, yeah, resting assured that I'm doing what I can. This is essential. I've done all I can do today. I can do no more. And this is okay for now, right? Little increments. It's not all or nothing. because we can't get to the other side isn't possible today. So we just have to be in the I don't know. So many of my teachers are talking about this time of humanity, and they're likening, both men and women are likening this period as a birthing. And it's like, once the contractions start, it's like the baby's not here yet. But there's no going back, and the contractions and the sort of duration and what that labor is going to look like, it is what it is, and you're just in it until such a time as it is completed, and that's where we are, friends. Yeah. Wow, right on. Yes, wow, that was cool. Okay. Wow, something just shifted. All right, let's drop that. That's right. If that context, if that metaphor really helped bring about your trust and that little bit of relaxation right in the diaphragm, that easy breath, easier breath, slightly fuller breath, right? Really good. Right? I think I feel like the words for one of the sort of polyvagal states is relaxed and alert. And I'm really ending with these, like the field, the diaphragm, the diaphragmatic state is, it feels much more supple. It almost feels slightly better hydrated, as if the tissues themselves of the diaphragm have become more supple. And it's like, okay, if we're in it, even if we're a little fatigued, being in a relaxed but calm, right, an uncontracted, calm, present state. It's like the capacity to be in that state just increased a little bit. Wow, really well done. Wow. Bunch just released out of the back of my head. Really good. Right? Because even at that, right, that relaxed, calm state comes up from the now body, and then it lets into an intuition and inspiration and alert presence just be in the brain, right? There's no figuring out. All you have to do to battle fatigue is breathe and be present. But from this tuned state, from this supported state, from this witnessed state, right? We just got here together. Regardless of how many people are watching live, it's immaterial. Whenever you find this video and whenever you watch it, that is exactly the right time, and you are in community. Yeah, that's the thing, right? We are in community. Oh, one of my clients shared such a dear expression, which I had never heard of, which is a problem shared is a problem halved. Oh, I could weep. Thank you. Thank you for that quote. And thank you. Like, we're all in this together, and it's the sort of more intimate version of many hands make light work, but a problem shared is a problem halved. And oh, And here we are. We've just halved our collective fatigue. Whew. Okay. Thanks, friends. No, I'm happy for that. Wow, so lovely. So lovely. Oh, it is really effervescent in the field right now. Really good job, you guys. Really good job. Oh, really good job. Really good job. Oh, yay. Really good job. Okay. And I'm going to wrap up with a 528. Nice. 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 Wow. It's been a delight, you guys. RebeccaCarner.com. Please reach out if you need to connect, if you'd like more information, if you'd like to book a session. Thank you, Super Stephen MK. Thanks for being with us, and truly, truly best wishes on your on your recovery. Really good job. Really good job. All right. Well, I don't know how to. And in just a second, I will figure out how to how to end stream. Here we go. All right. Thank you, friends. Thank you for being here. Best wishes to you. Reach out if you need anything, and I am here. See you in 2 weeks.